Give me 47 minutes and you'll see what purpose feels like. Creators, what if the reason your life's work feels unclear isn't because you don't have one, but because you were trained to survive instead of see it? And it's not your fault. See, you were trained to be good at getting by, but not at becoming who you are meant to be. That's why tonight you're going to meet a young woman named Jojo. Okay, Jojo is learning what her life's work actually is. She's discovering how to get there. But right now, Jojo can barely see it. Jojo can barely recognize it. Because when survival becomes your default, you don't ask, what am I called to do? You ask, what's the next thing I need to do? That's why purpose doesn't feel real. It feels irresponsible. So tonight we're not giving Jojo a plan. We're helping her feel something deeper than a strategy. Something that doesn't come from thinking harder, but comes from seeing reality differently. Tonight, Jojo isn't here to find an answer. She's here as your mirror. Because if your life's work has been feeling unclear lately, and if you have no real way to guide yourself back, no inner compass to guide yourself back to the truth of you, then the only question worth asking tonight is, what does purpose feel like inside of the body? Keep it locked. For if you can feel purpose as a force within you, then you'll never question whether or not you are operating within it. Without further ado, if you're ready to live free beyond fear, welcome here. I'm Dr. Shawn, and I believe you do not need years to heal. You just need one real breakthrough. That's why I invented Transcendent psychology, and I test it in the real world, on real people, on my game show, Countdown to Breakthrough, the only game show that heals your soul. We're beginning our conversation with a young lady in the field named Jojo. After that, we are going to take this idea of purpose and we're going to bring it into our laboratory, our meditation laboratory, what I call the conscious transformation laboratory. And we're going to explore this question of what does purpose actually feel like in the body? And the reason is that we want to understand how to always feel like we are operating within our actual calling. Important for tonight, I'm defining purpose in two ways. There is life's work, which is what you are actually here to do, to accomplish, how you are meant to express your unique talents, skill sets, and abilities in order to benefit others. And then there's also what we might call life's purpose, which is simply put, it is being in accordance with the principles and the laws of nature. Some people like the term serving God. Some people like the term just being. Tonight's conversation, we're handling the second, or rather the first piece, which is life's work. When we speak to Jojo in the field, we're going to be talking to her about life's work. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and meet Jojo right now.
My name is Jojo.
Jojo, I'm Shawn.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
So this is for the Dr. Shawn channel. It's on YouTube, okay? It's called Countdown to Breakthrough. I have 7 minutes to guide Jojo through 5 questions related to purpose. And Jojo, here's the thing. A lot of people try and answer their life purpose from their head. We don't want to do that. We want to answer the life purpose from the heart, okay? We want to answer the life's work from the heart. And so let me go ahead and put you here. Right now, if you could just hold your hands out just like this in front of your chest. Excellent. I want you to imagine that you have a white ball circling inside in the space between your hands. Let me know when you get it.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. Yep.
Excellent. Now, fill that ball, that white ball, with love. Right from your heart. Fill the white ball up with love just like it's a balloon. Let me know when you have it.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, see that white ball of love go inside of your own heart.
Felt it.
Ooh, beautiful. Okay. Now, anytime that we're asking these questions, I don't want you to answer from your head. I want you to answer from your heart. Answer from that love space. Yes, yes. Here we go. So, the question is, my first question is, what would you love to create if you could create anything in the world?
No.
Answer not from your head. Answer, let the light in the heart answer. What does it say?
Ooh, I would say probably just like music or just like, I would say helping people out, music, just trying to make sure that like, I could just like have a message.
Beautiful. Okay, so music is your art. And so let me ask you this. We just discovered what you would love to do, which is music. Let me ask you this. Where would you love to do it?
Honestly, anywhere, honestly. I don't have a problem with doing it.
Where would you love to do it? Let the light answer.
Okay. Studio, outside.
Yes. Right here in Atlanta? Would you stay here in Atlanta?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Let's assume that when is right now. I'll ask you, how would you love to do it?
Just like expressing myself probably and just saying like how I feel.
Yes. Through R&B? Is it R&B or is it electronic? What is it?
R&B. But I wouldn't have a problem with trying to like explore other,
So like R&B with like fusion elements.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my 5th question is, why would you love to do it?
Honestly, I love music. I love to like sing. Like I like being in like environments like this and just being like in a calm state, I would say.
Yes. So you love the way it makes you feel?
Yes.
Okay. And do you love the way it makes other people feel?
Yes.
Ooh, when did you notice?
When I was like really young, I would say probably like 5.
What was the memory?
I remember like me just kind of like singing like Beyonce, I love that woman to death. So like I would just listen to her music a lot and I really, really like her music. I think she's dope. Yes. And so, but you, just like Beyonce, had that inner child singing. Beyonce been singing since she was a kid. Yeah, like I love that lady.
And so was your life like that too as a kid? Were you also singing as a young child?
Yes, I would sing a lot.
Yeah, so would you say that music, you feel like God has made music your life's work, the thing that you're meant to express yourself through?
I feel like it's a part, but I feel like it's also like kind of like finding out like yourself, trying to go into like deeper parts of yourself, like go through the realm, kind of find out how like, like other things about yourself, like hey, like what triggers you, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel any types of ways. I would say it's more to just music. I feel like we have a lot more. I think we just focus on career more and not mind, body, and soul.
So yes.
So yeah, I would say that.
So when we're talking about life's work, we do mean something different than life's purpose. Life's purpose is mind, body, soul. But the way that you express that is what we're interested in finding out today. And it looks like you've identified at least one vector, one way of doing that is music. Yes. And so that essentially is the mind game, is to be able to ask yourself the questions that lead you back, because there's so many ways that you could be distracted. Someone could say, oh, no, what you need to go do is get this job, or what you need to go do is do this other thing. You know what I'm saying? There's so many ways to kind of lose sight. But if you can ask yourself those questions of, what do I love? When do I love to do it? Where would I love to do it? How would I love to do it? With who would I love to do it? Matter of fact, that's my last question. Who would you love to do music with?
Honestly, I don't have a problem with anybody. I'm very open-minded to like whoever kind of comes, as long as you're not like problematic. You're not like a R. Kelly
yes,
or like
yes. But who
a.
would you love answering from that heart space?
Trying to think. Maybe like SZA or like
Interesting.
honestly, anybody who just kind of comes to me and it's like, hey, like you want to make or produce, and I feel like we could just kind of do that together.
Yes.
No problem.
Excellent. So that's the end of my mind game. So it looks like would you say that you ever lose track of the music, how important it is to you?
Yeah, honestly, I have my moments where it's like, okay, like, let me focus this, let me focus. But I have moments where it's like, okay, you also need to make sure to try to do that, what you need to do. So it's like, it's 50-50. I have my moments.
Yeah. I think in times, the last thing I'll leave you with is in times when, you're kind of moving away, I think it's always helpful to just come back to these 5 questions and being able to say, wait, what is it that I love? When would I love to do it? Where would I love to do it? Who would I love to do it with? And why would I love to do it? And you notice that all of those things point to one answer. Mm-hmm. And then it only makes sense because it's love. It only makes sense because that light right there is answering it. And so thank you so much just for playing. I really appreciate you. Mm-hmm. This is excellent. Was this helpful?
Yes, I enjoyed the conversation.
Okay.
I had a good one. I feel like it was very positive, and you came in with very like good positive questions. So like, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jojo was just explaining how she is doing music and she wants to put out more. Mm-hmm. And she said, but I just don't have a producer. But notice the fact that we even asked her the question about love in the first place and she begins talking about music. She says, I need to have a producer. And who could be the producer, the guy who's standing behind the camera recording the conversation in the first place? See, that's what love does. It puts you in the right place at the right time. And if you're willing to follow it, instead of just thinking that you know the answers, leaning on your own understanding, you follow the voice of God, you understand that, oh, wow, I have everything that I need, and it's all right here. Ooh,
yeah. I feel like it's like a blessing. That's sure, yeah.
So say that again. What are you saying?
I feel like it's like a blessing, like God kind of like sends y'all to me, or like just like the universe is kind of like, okay, like you know what, we know you need da. We gonna try to bring somebody, and like it just happened. I didn't even know he was a producer at all.
Right.
That's crazy. Yeah.
All she had to do was talk about love. All she had to do was just imagine that light and put it into her heart, and all of a sudden, all of the elements, they fell right into place. It's so interesting. What I'm saying is that if you continue to do this and you live in this way, this type of what we call synchronicity doesn't stop. It keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going, and until all of a sudden, you're right where you're meant to be, right where you're supposed to be, where you're destined to be. And that's, Jojo, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Beautiful.
All right. Okay, man, so many things running through my mind. As we're asking these questions and we're tuning her into the light of love, she starts talking about what's important to her and where her own power, where her own agendas and ideas about how to arrive at her chosen destination and actually being able to get in a room with other creatives who are as serious about the work as she is. Her own ideas had kind of left her in limbo. They failed her. But we start asking these questions about love, and she starts reminding herself, wait, no, this music thing, I'm actually, it doesn't have to be the work, but it is a part of what I feel directed to. And to be able to get in a room with other creatives, if only I could find them. But now we're talking about love, and the very act of her talking about love triggers Chris to say, oh, wait, I could help with that. The dude who's standing behind the camera is like, hey, he put that's why we didn't catch it on film, is because he had to put the camera down and be like, hey, I can help with that. You know what I'm saying? And so just by talking about love, she sent out a beacon that attracted what she needed back to her. And so the point is not about a one-off incident. The point is that as we operate with that love capability, with that in that love frequency, if you prefer, you could say, as we're being honest with ourselves about who we are, what we're here to do, what we're interested most in doing, and we take that seriously, we actually honor what we're interested most in doing. The moment we begin moving as if we are honoring that which we are most interested in doing. It's as if reality summons the next steps for us, summons the networks, the relationships. It's as if it simply appears. And so as I was combing back through the footage, I was like, okay, maybe there's something in this one after all. Because you saw like Jojo was like, okay, I'm holding this ball, and she was like, okay, okay, I'm cool. Like I get the exercise. I'm supposed to answer from this light of love inside. All right, cool. And so I'm like, okay, well, what would you love to do? Where would you love to work the most? And she's like, well, I think I don't. I mean, honestly, it's like, and it's like, that's in the head. The habit is to go to our spokesperson, is to go to the person that we want other people to see, and just kind of, oh yeah, I'm gonna just, yeah. Honestly, I think it's just I would rather. I like. I would work with anybody as long as it's not R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like it's. I don't know if y'all caught that. She was like, I work with anybody as long as they're not problematic, like R. Kelly. Um, I'm like, okay. Like, heard all that, but like, how? Let's answer from the appropriate place. Let's answer from the appropriate place, and then tell me what that answer is. And you could see JoJo struggling to go back and forth between her head and actually like, oh no, hold on. Also, this music thing is really interesting. Also, I really do love Beyonce. I love that one. Right? Like this is what's coming out of her. And so it's like you're getting this mix of her public performance, her wanting to, not look silly on camera, and you can feel that self-consciousness, but in between those moments you get an authentic frequency. You get something that is coming through her that actually sounds real. And so the question really is tonight is like, listen, are you living below your calling? JoJo is very young. It makes no difference to us whether or not music is her thing. The point is to be able to ask the questions that take you deeply into your own self, into the matrix of your own mind, so that you can say, okay, well, what actually is true for me now? What's true for me right now? That's why our question tonight, how can we feel purpose? What does purpose feel like inside of your body? We've got to get to a place where the feeling, the what we call frequency, the feeling itself is our compass. We don't have to worry about if we're veering off course, because we know that we're operating from everything that we're doing feels like it's deeply purposeful. We can only do that if we locate that central node of purpose within us. I need to understand what purpose feels like inside of the body, because I want to know how I can operate within it at all times. I'm not interested in wasting any more time. I'm interested in moving in such a way that purpose is ever present in my life. And when I say purpose, I'm talking about, yes, life's purpose, mind, body, soul, as JoJo put it, but I'm also talking about life's work, the way that purpose is expressed, the way that unique signature, those unique abilities, those unique talents that I was born with, the way that those need to be expressed. This love thing, it knows exactly how it wants to be, and so staying in purpose is not. So it's not a chore. It's what's natural. The distraction is what is the only thing that can temporarily cloud this frequency. And so it's time now for our principle, our pattern, and our path. We need to go to the breakthrough board. Let me pull that out. I got the breakthrough board, and as we normally do, we want to be able to identify the principle that is coming out of our discovery tonight. Because our question was, what does love feel, oh, sorry, what does purpose feel like inside of your body? And the place where we naturally went inside of the laboratory was to this feeling of love. But once the love component was applied, I started to feel this level of clarity. I started to feel like a level of purity, like all the mud in a pond had somehow settled on the bottom of the pond where it belongs, and all the water was now purified and clear. It kind of felt like this clear sense of just being natural, of abiding in nature. In other words, I felt like myself, only undistracted. And so tonight we want to be able to pull a principle out of that experiment and that experience. I like to teach from principle because if I can understand the principle behind a phenomenon, then I can architect my own path forward even if I don't know much else. When I understand principles, I can reason from principles. And so I like to start with principles, but in order to do it, in order to find the principle that is looking to express itself tonight, I must go within. And also, I've got to make sense of what I just experienced in the lab. For me, it was like I witnessed a stable level of clarity that is, it's as if this level of clarity is always there, but that when I turn on the movie of the mind, when I enter into the theater of the mind, just like I'm in a movie theater, I can lose touch with reality and get so invested on what I'm seeing on the screen that I'm actually yelling at the screen, or I'm actually jumping, I'm actually getting afraid, I'm actually, you know what I'm saying? I end up responding to the illusion when the clarity is with me right now. The clarity is never left. It's only the distraction that makes it appear so. That was the general sense. And so we want to pull a principle out of that. When it comes to our question, what does purpose feel like inside of your body? To me, purpose feels like rooted clarity. It feels like that which is always clear, foundational clarity. But I hate to be generic, but this is kind of getting at the point anyway. It's kind of saying everything I need to say anyway. So I'm just going to put it like this. The principle of the night, when it comes to our question, what does purpose feel like inside your body? Well, tonight's principle is that purpose feels like love because purpose is love. It's the same thing. So when we're radiating in that love frequency and we're asking it, how do you wish to express yourself? That is our moment of purpose. That is our moment of purpose. And of course, when we're saying purpose, we not only mean I'll put the L here. our alignment with God, or you might even say our alignment with true reality, or you might even say our alignment with original nature, whichever acronym you like, whatever you like. But we're also talking about our life's work. That in the moment that we are emanating, incubating, and responding to that vibrational frequency of love, we have no choice but to let go of the behaviors that were not in alignment with that frequency, with that vibration, with that feeling, with that orientation. We have no choice but to come back to this feeling of purpose. I started feeling that feeling of purpose. I started feeling it as love, and it was as if this love always knew exactly what it wanted to do. And remember, when we talk about love, we're talking about the totality of reality. Love means the end of separation. Love means oneness. When we say I love you, we're saying I feel one with you. So what we're talking about is original nature. We're talking about oneness itself. So when I can feel, however, that feeling of oneness is felt in the body as love. And I'm saying that that is the exact same thing as what purpose feels like. That is our principle, that purpose is love. That purpose is love. Were you ever to get lost, missing out on what your life's calling is, what your life's work is, all you have to do is find your way back to this frequency. Allow it to ripple through every atom in your body, every cell in your organism. Allow it to ripple through, and what you find is that it produces a clear foundation from which to look and act upon reality in a whole new way, but in a way that is original to you. And so we say purpose is love. That's the principle of the evening. Which would mean that your life's work doesn't have to be, again, it's not just about a career, though it's that too. It's not just about how you show up in relationship, though it's that too. It's not just about how you handle this body temple, it's that too. You dig what I'm saying? It's all of the things, but because the love is everlasting, that means that it's a part of every minute of every day. So since we never leave it, it covers every spectrum of the totality of our reality, it covers every element of our day. So nothing is left out, which means if you didn't know anything else, but you only knew love, you would find out, you would do an audit over your day after living in love for a week and find out that, oh, wait, what I do, these are the activities that love has me do consistently. Oh, that's the career I need. That's the work I would do even if no one paid me. For me, just to remember that principle, that purpose is love. We immediately answer the question, how, what does love, what does purpose feel like inside of your body? We immediately answer that when we say that purpose is love. Because I find that life is not operationalizing for the individual. It doesn't really care about us as individuals. But the individual, their entire life is just looking to reconnect with the sum total of reality, looking to find its way back to God, looking to love and be loved. You dig what I'm saying? And so if we can just give ourselves that in one foul swoop, if we can just give ourselves that love right now, oh my goodness, we're back in purpose. Our every action is building our life's work. Our every action is building our life's calling. Even as we stay connected with mind, body, and soul, the entire cosmic architecture is working through us in that moment, in that particular point in time, through our unique abilities and capabilities, in a way that we love. You see, there's no manipulation in that. It's not come do this thing so that you can help other people. No one's gonna try and dangle a moral clause over your head and say, "Oh, well, your life needs to be in service of a particular group of people or whatever the case is." Because when we are operating in love, everything that needs to get handled gets handled. The people get served anyway. Only they get served in a way that's in alignment with my own energy. They get served in a way that is in alignment with my highest capacities, my highest gifts. So they get more, and I do too. That's what we mean when we say that reality is not operationalizing for the individual, it's operationalizing for the whole, which is why love feels so good. And if you think about it, it's really the only thing you really want anyway. That's why we say that that purpose is love. If I'm doing that, then I'm doing everything else. Okay. And so the question then becomes, if our principle tonight is that purpose is love, excellent. What's the pattern? The pattern, of course, is the way that we get into trouble in the first place. What has to happen in order for us to miss the fact that purpose is love? Why is it that we still live on a planet where people are distracted, where there is so, if you ask people what their purpose is, maybe you can get an answer. If you ask people what their life's work is, people have spent fewer hours answering that question, being in the frequency enough to ask love, what do you want to do right now? People have spent so few hours doing that. People spent way more hours watching television. People spent way more hours watching Netflix. Way more hours on YouTube. Way more hours. Way more hours. Way more hours working in positions that we would not choose for ourselves were we clear. So how is that? Like what's the pattern there? What's going on? The reason I like to talk about pattern and teach from pattern is that or teach about pattern is that if I can recognize a pattern, then I can interrupt that pattern, I can change that pattern, I can transform that pattern. And so as we jump into the pattern for the night, we understand our principle. The purpose is love. But what is our pattern? What's the pattern? Like how do we get into this mess in the first place? See, we are talking about the pattern. We talked about the principle that purpose is love. But we need to understand the pattern, that which gets us into trouble in the first place. And the pattern tonight is that our thoughts create a theater. We could even say that our thoughts create a distraction theater in the mind. Our thoughts create a distraction theater in the mind. That's the pattern. One more. Our thoughts create a distraction theater in the mind. What am I saying? I'm saying that the reason that we decided to ask ourselves the question, what does purpose feel like inside of the body? What does purpose feel like in your body? The reason we are concerned with that question is because feeling is always more expeditious than thinking. A feeling will tell you more about the state of your psyche faster and more clearly than random, rampant thoughts ever can. And so what happens is this: thoughts create a distraction theater in the mind. Imagine if you go to somebody and you're telling them, oh man, I just want to follow my passion. I just want to do this art thing. I just want to do painting. I just want to do writing. I just want to do music. And they start asking you, who do you know who's ever been successful at that? What are the odds? Are you trying to be broke? Well, damn, now you sitting here going back through and you are thinking and imagining all the scenarios of things not working. And you're seeing the visualizations, the thoughts play out like movies on the screen of your mind. That's why I say thoughts create a theater in the mind. It's as if you just purchased yourself a matinee ticket to a distraction theater constituted by your own fearful thoughts. So these thoughts create a distraction theater in the mind when they are based in fear, when they are not rooted in purpose, when they are not rooted in love. And so what happens? We say, okay, well, damn, I wanted to do the writing, I wanted to do the music, I wanted to paint, or I wanted to work with kids, or I wanted to do, you know, education. I wanted to do finance. I wanted to do something. But this person is saying, how many people do you know who have been successful at that? What if it doesn't work out? Then what would you do if you have to be homeless living under a bridge? You feel me? Like people then now all of a sudden, like the images, you go to answering those questions, summoning those thoughts, and then watching them play out in the theater of your mind. It's a complete distraction. You have no time to operate in purpose when you're distracted, occupying your time answering the questions of people who themselves are not rooted in purpose, themselves are asking questions based on fear, building up this distraction chamber that you're looking at. You're watching the images, you're watching the thoughts. You're saying, oh man, I don't know what I would do. I don't know how I would handle that. Man, I don't want to be broke. Shoot, my mama was broke. I didn't even have fun with that. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden it's going back through the images that have been fear-based, have been occupying the mind, have been occupying the theater of the mind, and have been causing distractions. Hard to get anchored in the pure feeling of purpose when you're too busy being distracted by fear-based thoughts. The ones that conjure the images that you entertain inside of the distraction theater of the mind. To return to our principle of the evening, which is that the purpose is love. And we're that person to be honest and to actually have somebody who could help them return back to this inner frequency. The frequency would then begin to say, hey, actually, what I'm most interested in doing today is this other thing. It's not in the sense that I disrespect something else. It's not in the sense that something becomes good and other things become bad. It's just in the sense that love knows exactly what it wants to be doing. at this particular moment in time. And so when I make that choice, in the next moment, I make that choice again, and then again, and then again. And suddenly my day ends the way that it should have, with all the activities that we're loving to do and none of the activities that weren't. But I'll miss that if I get distracted by the theater of the mind, by the thoughts that are, particularly the fear based thoughts that are creating a distraction theater. And so that's the pattern that thoughts create a distraction theater in the mind. So now we want to understand what's the path forward. You don't believe you just come through knocking. It's early. We're not even at. He's supposed to come over a little later, but like you know what I'm saying. It's breakthrough turtle. Remember, we're talking about our principle, our pattern, our path. Breakthrough turtle saying that he coming through with the path forward. So our principle again was that purpose is love. Our pattern was that thoughts, fear-based thoughts, create a distraction theater in the mind. But now, Break the Turtle is coming through with the path forward. He's saying there are people in the world who will love you, and people in the world who will hurt you, and there are people in the world who will do both. When it's over and it's gone, you almost wish that you could have all that bad stuff back so you can have the good. Our question tonight was, what does purpose feel like inside your body? The principle was that purpose is love, and therefore purpose feels like love inside the body. Our pattern was that we only forget when we get distracted by thoughts that create a false theater in the mind that occupies our attention. The path forward. Mm, okay. You may have seen this before. It is the yin and yang symbol. Based on Breakthrough Turtle's quote tonight, I'm seeing that. Behold eternity. Behold all phenomena. This image that you're seeing right here represents the totality of phenomenal reality, the highest capacity that the human mind is capable of ascertaining at our current level of evolution. See, inside of this symbol, you see the circle, which represents no break in time and always continuous cycle. You could just call this eternity. But within eternity, that which never ends, has no beginning, has no ending, the circle is perfect. But within it, it's as if half of reality comes with a phenomenal reality, comes with what we might call the dark, and the other half comes with the light. But even within the dark, there is that purity. Even within the foolishness that exists within the distractions of the mind, there's a level of purity and wisdom if we're willing to look, if we're willing to see it. Just as in every good time, there is a little kernel of distraction or setback or what you could call the negative. This is one of the reasons that the Taoists say whether you're going up the ladder or down the ladder, your position is shaky. Therefore, just stay rooted in reality. In other words, what's happening in here is lovely, but what we are what we are interested in is the full totality of this reality. This thing is what we call love. When you are feeling love, you are transcending the duality, the dual nature of reality, and you're getting at the sum total. You're getting at eternity itself. Paying attention to this bifurcated, to the dual nature of reality. I know that I don't get good without bad if I stay in the dual nature, but I'm okay with that because I know that both good and bad belong to the sum total that is called love. You dig what I'm saying? That all the negative, all of the meanderings, all of the wanderings, I know that it all abides in love. That's why we always say that the purpose of reality is reality, but the totality of reality is love. Therefore, the purpose is love. It's the same thing. So I'm willing to accept the negative because I know that it all abides in love, and that even the negative returns me to a pure sense of what God is. So I give my praise in advance because I understand the nature of things. And so you understand our path forward tonight is to open ourselves to giving praise in advance, knowing that every facet of our clarity and delusion has been working all the time toward the flowering of purpose and toward the direction of love.